Welcome back to another episode of New Fronts Radio. We got a great episode for you guys today. We actually have a special guest. It's the first guest ever on the pad, so I'm excited about that. We're going to be covering a ton of really cool topics from credit stacking, making really cool decisions with business credit lines, how you can invest at a higher scale, Airbnbs, how you can make money with Airbnbs and not even own that real estate. We'll touch on motivation, on content creation through social media, and then we'll try to squeeze in a little bit of crypto. I'm your host, Jaime, along with Internet Joey, and together we are New Fronts Radio, where we cover ideas and tips to try to give you a little bit more alpha. Quick disclaimer for you guys, anything we say or do is not financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into the video. Miggle, how you doing, my man? I know you were in Las Vegas the last couple of days. How you been?
Dude, fantastic, man. Thank you guys so much for inviting me out. It's pretty awesome, dude. I met you guys literally last month at like my first business conference. Now here we are making content together, so I'm super excited, man.
Awesome, man. I'm super psyched to have you on. What were you doing in Las Vegas? I know you were partying it up over there.
Yeah, dude. So, literally last Saturday, my property managers who I just hired out here in Bakersfield, they just like hit me up randomly. They're like, "Yo, you want to come out to Vegas?" I was just like, "Well, I mean, I'm not gonna say no, but like, what's the what's the reason?" They're like, why? And they're like, why not? And I was like, all right, fuck yeah, let's do it. Ended up moving all like my sales calls like earlier in the morning just so I could go out, have fun. But quick disclaimer, I'm doing the 75 hard challenge, so I did not break that. I'm almost 3 weeks in, so no drugs, no alcohol, no partying. I was still out there having fun, but kept everything sober. So
nice.
Awesome, man. You're the epitome of work hard, play hard. I mean, I see you on Instagram always hustling, and I know if you partied in Las Vegas and like just how you partied at the InvestorCon conference. Oh man, you had this guy. He had the craziest dance moves. So after the conference, which is a conference that 0% are the company I work for hosted, we had an after party at I think the club was in Tice, and Miggle was tearing it up on the dance floor. This guy has crazy moves.
Yeah, dude, just break dance, dude. That's the thing too. Is like, it's funny. Like anybody who's known me before where I'm at now, especially in college, high school, everyone's always just seemed like, oh, that's Miggle. You know, he likes to wiggle, he likes to party, he likes to dance. Like that was kind of like the brand that I like actively, tried to portray to people. And like now that I've kind of grown up older, like, sorry, give me one sec. Yeah, ever since then. In like high school, college, like everyone's always just kind of seen me as that guy who liked to party. And now I've always been working hard, but like never kind of like showed that to people. I just kind of like kept that hidden. But now, I don't give a shit. Like I want to be able to start teaching people about like just the motivation stuff I do with like credit stacking, Airbnb, and kind of being a little bit more professional. But like now you guys are kind of seeing it like, yeah, that guy likes to work hard, but also, I'll go get fucked up. Like I'm here to celebrate. We work too damn hard to not get to have fun and just be like a straight edge,
Yeah, man, I love it. You go balls to the wall, 100% all the time. That's great, man.
Yeah.
So give us a little bit of intro, man. Give us Oh, go ahead, Joey.
So after all that being said, what made you decide? And we'll get into your little bit about your backstory. But what got you doing 75 hard? Gotcha. So this was a little bit. So 75 hard was like a testament to yourself and breaking that maybe. What does Hermosi call it? The limiting belief. Did we lose him? Where did Miggle go? Oh, we got him back. Technical difficulty.
Sorry about that. That like kicked me out for a second, so I had to like refresh
There
the
we go.
page.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yep, there you are.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
So
I was just saying, so it was basically a testament to yourself and trying to break that self-limiting belief that you have to be the party guy and you just wanted to prove it to yourself.
yeah, absolutely. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm still that party guy. I don't give a shit. Like, I'm like right after 75 hard. I'm flying back to Vegas because Ryan Pineda, Alex Hermosi, the absolute GOAT. They're doing like a real estate conference out there. And it just so happens, like, that conference is literally the day after I'm done with 75 hard, and I'm about to go hard. So I'm super excited for it, but, like, at the same time, I know, like, the 75 hard challenge, I've already seen a lot of growth in just the way I'm thinking, just my work ethic. I'm taking a break from partying, and just because I'm done with the 75 hard doesn't mean I'm just going to go back full, like, just start going hard all the time. I'm just going to have a better balance with it because at the end of the day, like I'm always going to go have fun. That's not something I'm trying to like kick off, but I do want to have more control over it, not make it something I rely on for having fun as much,
Gotcha. Cool.
Absolutely, man. I love it. I saw you post 75 hard maybe like 2 weeks ago, and then I know I had someone else at work that said they were starting it, and I didn't know what it was, but I started looking into it, and I was like, you know what? I need something to kickstart my body, kickstart my motivation. So I decided to do it, and I've been 11 days strong, and I love it, dude. It really has done a big impact. I'm telling you, man. Like I don't think I've ever been this strict with a diet and this strict with a workout, and I'm definitely seeing a difference. And I'm only 10 days in. So definitely recommend it to anybody who's interested.
Yeah, anybody who's watching, like, I challenge you because one of the things that I realized too is just like I was like asking myself, when's the last time I like really pushed myself? Like when I was in high school, I'd kick my own ass. Like I used to do wrestling, cross country, swim, like really push myself. And like I really believe if you could push yourself, if you have your like physical right, you could push yourself physically. When it comes to studying like finance or whatever it is, your job or like better relationships. I really think if you can handle the physical, that's going to transfer into your other important areas of your life, like relationships, family, friends, your job, everything else. So it's been a great experience so far. Definitely, like I said, I'm not even 3 weeks in. I'm moving differently. I'm thinking differently. I've got a lot more focus. Like I'm like the top closer with Jack McCall for credit stacking, and I've been crushing it. Like, and obviously that's my work, but I'm like the way I've been able to get focus from this challenge is like literally like I'm getting paid 2x now because of how many people I'm like closing with this program. So
that's awesome, man. Tell me a little bit about how you got into credit stacking.
Dude, yeah. So this was So I kind of like got to backtrack a little bit. So to bring it all the way over there, because originally before I'd always been doing like entrepreneurship type stuff when I was in college. I started doing drop shipping, Shopify. First business out of college, I actually used to sell like animal onesies for adults just because it was like unique, something that sold. So that was the first thing. But when I got out of college, I actually worked with Jack McCall before we became coworkers. Me and him actually used to be competitors for the college student travel space. We'd essentially bring out thousands of college students out to like Mexico, all these like popular destinations, throw a music festival, and just turn the fuck up. Like that used to be our job. Me and Jack used to be competitors. We ended up merging with their company, and that was kind of my whole life, was just grinding, helping organize music festivals, helping sell that. Fast forward like a year later, we ended up moving to Vegas for the summer to do some like new employee training. And long story short, I actually ended up getting fired from that job because I ended up throwing a fat ass party at our Airbnb mansion that they rented out.
No,
for
you
us.
didn't.
Yeah. So this is actually really funny and fucked up. It was really horrible for me. Like, so back in like 2019 or whatever, Airbnb used to be illegal in Vegas. But we were still able to cop one. Yeah, we were able to cop one. And I was just like, okay, let's have a barbecue at the house. We got like the fattest mansion out of like everyone else like in the program. We'll just have a little pool party. My dumbass and this other guy from Sac State that was one of our sales reps, there was like some outdoor furniture, and we were like, yo, let's throw the couch in the pool. So we throw a couch in the pool. There's like the Ring cameras too, so the owners of the house could see everything we're doing, just throwing a fat ass party. The neighbors were complaining. Yeah. So that was absolutely horrible, dude. Yeah. And so we ended up getting fired because we got on the news, and then Airbnb, like a month later, ended up getting legalized because they're like, look, if we don't legalize this here in Vegas, we're going to see more of this debauchery. So basically single-handedly got it legalized in Airbnb. And fast forward a couple years now I do Airbnb. So it's full circle.
Full circle.
That is amazing.
Funny. That is
amazing,
man. So you guys threw a couch in the pool.
Yeah. It was some stupid, like, if you know Total Frat Movement or like, so all those like stupid, like Instagram, like ignorant, just like I'm fucked up, like just doing stupid shit. Like that's what we did. I suffered the consequences for it. It was horrible. I ended up getting fired. Was living out of my car for a little bit because I could not tell my parents like I got fired for getting drunk and being stupid, you know? But that's what got me into credit stacking. I know that there's a big story, but to bring it full circle, that's what got me into credit stacking. I got fired from the company, was really struggling to make my own way. I was literally like living in my car for a little bit until I could figure shit out. Was sleeping on couches, and one of my buddies let me stay at his place for a month while I was applying for jobs out in the Bay Area. Got a shitty – or it wasn't a shitty job. It paid well. But I started selling accounting software for this company out in the Bay Area. And it was like – I don't know. It absolutely sucked. Like it was boring. Not something I'm passionate about. But I knew the whole time like there's no way in hell I'm like – because there's people who've been working there for years, you know, like who are like straight up adults, like have families there. And I'm just like there's no fucking way I'm going to grow old selling accounting software for the rest of my life. So that kind of kick-started my ass to, I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like I failed in so many different businesses, you know, but I got to try something. And, you know, I've been friends with Jack, been following him on Instagram. Saw that he met up with, do you guys know who Colin Yurkison is?
No, I'm not familiar.
He's a big credit guy, big crypto guy. He's out in Miami. But they actually ran into him, met him at, like while they were traveling in like Bali or something. So I'd been following him for a while. They recommended Colin Yurkison's credit program, purchased that program, and then from there got into 3 more other credit programs, mastered everything, and then the credit stacking program with Jack. That was like the nail in the coffin, man. Like that had everything I needed to know about credit. And now I feel so confident being able to start businesses. And now I help teach people the same methods to start their own businesses. So that's kind of like full circle how I got to where I'm at, helping out with learning credit. Cause like it really is a fucking game changer, dude. Like I can't believe all the other businesses I was failing at, I was using my own money. Like I'd much rather get that 0%, you know?
It's really crazy. I started working at 0% a few months ago, and it showed me how little I knew about credit. I mean, I was one of those guys who I thought credit was bad.
Yeah,
I was like, no, absolutely. I don't want to touch credit. Credit's bad for you. I'll just all cash. And man, was I wrong. And now I'm doing something very similar to you. I help people get 0% interest credit lines through business accounts. And man, it's so crazy. And I think people need to be educated on this, because I get phone calls, and I'm sure you do too, all the time, of people just like that. Oh no, credit's bad. My parents taught me they were bad. I don't like this. I mean, look, I'll give you an example. My parents almost never argued when I was growing up, but the few arguments they did have was debt or financial. So that I'm pretty sure a lot of people had that idea in their head of watching their parents argue or finances or debt, and they're like, you know what? I want to stay away from debt. I want to stay away from banks. But if you have to differentiate good debt from bad debt.
Of
And
course.
maybe you can enlighten us a little bit about that.
Yeah, dude, I tell people all the time, like, when it comes to the credit stacking course, whenever I'm hopping on these strategy sessions with people, I tell people, like, we will not do business with you unless we see eye to eye on these two key things. And the first thing that, in terms of mindset, people need to understand is, one, you know, you can have the best product or service in the world, but if you don't have the funding, nobody gives a shit, you know, and that's why, like, even if you don't have your business figured out, figure out the funding, because there's 101 ways of making money. But at the end of the day, every 101 of those ideas requires money. You don't have to be the smartest person in the room. You can purchase a course, a coach, hire people, the software, the equipment, and inventory. I don't give a shit. You know, you need to have the money, so it needs to be a priority. So that's one mindset. The more important mindset is two, is kind of what you're saying, differentiating good debt versus bad debt. You know, your classic Robert Kiyosaki, you know, assets versus liabilities, and being able to understand that. And I tell people all the time, like we will not accept you in this program unless we see eye to eye on that, because the last thing we want to do is, I don't want to help get you, you know, 250K and 0% business funding. And, you know, your dumbass goes out, buys a fucking Tesla, some new shoes, a purse, like, unless you're flipping that online or some shit, like, don't fucking reach out to us, because you're going to end up being in a world of hurt by putting yourself in that much debt. Because the whole idea is, like, you know, for example, I do Airbnb, right? You know, I'll take out maybe like $10,000, up to like $10,000 for a rental arbitrage deal. That goes towards the deposit, the down payment, furnishing the place, marketing it. And usually that takes anywhere between like 4 and 6 months to receive ROI. So until then, basically, I have the bank. They front me the whole startup cost for the business. For the first, let's say, 6 months, I'm not making shit because all the money's going back to paying back the card. But what about the other 6 months of the year? And then the year after that, it's all profit from there. So that's the biggest thing that we try to teach people, is understanding, like, debt isn't scary as long as you're putting in an asset and you're calculating, like, okay, it's going to pay itself off, and then you continue to let the asset appreciate and cash flow.
100%. I couldn't agree with you more. And, you know, there's this client avatar that I've been getting a lot of calls from, and I'm pretty sure a lot of them are probably watching this video, and I would love to give them some advice. And it's a young kid, 18 to 24, has zero credit cards, hasn't, you know, maybe has just a job that's making him $20 an hour, $22 an hour, just starting out in life. What do you think is the best strategy for them to maximize their credit? Not just their credit score, but getting credit lines.
Yeah, absolutely. That's funny you mention it, because one of the parts of like my morning routine is, after I do my like first workout in the morning, I film content on like credit, and that's literally I'm making a whole like thread of like going from 0 to 750 FICO score. If you don't have credit, you just turned 18 or have below score, like, this is how you're going to get there. So that's funny you brought that up. But the thing I was filming today was, like, let's say you're 18, you don't have any credit score. The first thing you want to do is, like, get a secured card. Basically a secured credit card. It's essentially a debit card that builds up credit. And, you know, no one's going to want to give you an unsecured line of credit, you know, lend you out money if you don't have any score. So that's the first thing, is getting a secured card. And the fastest, I'd say probably the number one fastest way of boosting up your score is, you know, friends or family. If they have, you could get added as an authorized user on any of their cards. So, you know, let's say I just turned 18. I look like I'm 18, but I just turned 18, have zero credit. Let's say, Jaime, I want to boost my score up as fast as possible. And you have a card that has like 25K credit limit, perfect payment history, this and that. You know, I would want to hit you up, be like, hey, can I get added as an authorized user on your card? And what ends up happening is all the accolades and accomplishments and statistics you have on that card, I get to I get to adopt that whole credit file, and that's going to boost my score up. So I would say top 3 steps, immediately get a secured card, get an authorized user. after you made some payments on that authorized user, go apply for like a tier 2 unsecured credit line. And then from there, you're looking at least like, high 600, 700 credit scores. And from there, it's just, get other types of, if you have like student loans or like home loans or auto loans, just making sure you're paying it off. But also just getting the right credit cards. And then from there, you want at least the 700 FICO score. Anything less, the banks won't even consider you. And then you want to optimize. I always tell people there's like 15 factors that doesn't have to do with your FICO score at all. And that's what kind of determines how much you'll get approved for. And if you could get those two things, get your FICO to 700, optimize the 15 non-FICO related factors, that you're going to be able to get hundreds of thousands of dollars in 0% business credit easy.
Now, I would say is the caveat for using for being under an authorized user or being an authorized user is that it can go both ways, right? If that user starts missing payments, that starts affecting you negatively, correct?
Yeah. So definitely don't reach out to your slapdick friend who's working at McDonald's, isn't really responsible with credit. Talk to somebody you trust, and let them know too. Like, the nice thing about authorized users is if you're the authorized user, you don't have to have possession of the credit card. So for me, borrowing your credit file means I'm not going to get affected at all. It's only going to help me for either parties. The only risk for me is, like you said, if you start fucking up on your payments, or if somehow I got access to the card and just wanted to be an asshole and start ringing it up, but absolutely.
Gotcha. That's awesome. And I have another question. So let's say, I'm 18, I'm going to get, I do everything you said. For an unsecured loan, what do you think the maximum would be? Let's say like I got my credit score, I have an authorized user, it's at 650, right? Mm-hmm. What's the most you've seen these unsecured loans go for?
Yeah, dude, it really depends based on people's files, because like you can still have a 650 score but have some like late payments, collections, or derogatories on your file. So really, like I said, when it comes to getting funding, banks look at two key main things. One's the personal FICO. The higher the FICO, the more they're going to consider you. But really, like, especially if we're talking about like business credit, those 15 factors that don't have to do with FICO score at all. So I'll give you an example. If we're talking about just 0% business credit, I was able to get approved for a $25K and a $50K card with my Airbnb business, and it was barely a month old. That's how I kickstarted this whole Airbnb empire. I had no revenue. Business was only like barely a month old, didn't have any vendor trade lines or anything like that. But because I optimized the other 12 factors that didn't have to do with FICO, I still got approved for higher limits. So, they'll look at, how is your LLC or NAICS code? That NAICS code is, it determines your level of risk as a borrower, depending on the industry you're in. It's recommended to have anywhere like at least 3 to 5, preferably like 4 or 5, but at least 3 credit cards. And you want to have about like up to like 50K in total business credit over there, plus or minus 10 or 20K, depends, other factors, but around like 50K worth of business credit or personal credit on the personal side. And, you want to have the right data points when you're actually filling out the application. And, that's what actually gets people these high limits. And like I said, you don't have to be an established business, have a bunch of revenue coming in if you know how to finesse the system, essentially.
Awesome. A lot of juice there.
Awesome, man. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you're young and you're looking to build your credit, I mean, everything he just said, go ahead and replay that and watch it multiple times, because there is so much value in that you guys do not understand. Once you guys understand credit, it'll open the doors of possibilities for business, for investing, for so many other things. Yeah. So yeah, for sure. Thanks so much for that.
Yeah, no problem. And like that's the thing, like I feel like that's the number one, and it really is an excuse. Like anybody who says like I want to start a business. I want to leave my 9 to 5 so I could do X, Y, and Z, but I can't because I don't have money. Like, that's a load of shit, dude. Like, you're giving, if you tell yourself that that's the fucking excuse, you're fucking lying to yourself because, like, dude, this is one option to get into a business without using any of your own money. And if you really want something, you'll fucking figure out a way to do it. You're not going to give excuses as of why you couldn't do it. You figure out, here's the solution, and this is the solution. Because, like, I get it. Obviously, money is important to start a business, but, you know, you can take out loans, preferably 0% business credit cards, just because that's the easiest and least risk possible. And now there's no more excuses once you figure that out. So once you start learning credit.
No, you're absolutely right. Yeah, because this is, I mean, if you live in the U.S., right? I mean, everything you're saying these are all leveraging tools that are accessible to U.S.
everybody,
citizens, right? So
everybody, yeah,
right.
So
yeah.
So what you're saying is absolutely true. I mean, I'll just have my 2 cents, but like, I think, you know, limiting the excuses, and then, you know, if you stumble across the same way you did it, and now you're finding, you know, oh, I can leverage other people's money, right? Credit and stuff like this. I mean, look at that. I mean, that's an answer in itself. So if you really want to solve, if anyone really wants to solve problems or questions, or, you know, the answers are there. You just need to be willing to go out and find them. So I think you bring up a great point.
It's a limiting belief.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest issue people have when they're starting a business and they start making excuses. It's limiting beliefs that they have that they need to destroy and just push forward. If you really want something bad enough, you'll figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
And we have, especially here in the US, we have all the tools.
So much opportunity.
All the tools.
Yeah. And
I mean, you can literally get anywhere between 200,000 to 300,000 of 0% interest business credit lines and put that into a cash flow business.
Mm-hmm.
And now you have cash flow that you didn't have before you had that credit.
Yeah.
I mean, look at you. You're throwing that into Airbnbs, right?
Yeah, absolutely. This is literally funding my whole like portfolio. And just to piggyback off what you're saying, Joey, yeah, like that's kind of what the difference is between like a lot of people, they say they want to be an entrepreneur, but yet they give themselves so many excuses as why they cannot. That's why you'll never be an entrepreneur, because the whole idea of being an entrepreneur is like willing to solve problems. If you can't even solve your own,
right,
no one's going to fucking pay you for shit. That's why you work for somebody else.
Exactly.
You know?
I mean, that's actually a great point, solving problems. And it's funny, like if you can look at it from the consumer standpoint, it's like, oh, well, I really want to go out and buy TVs and cars and clothes and liabilities, right? Well, I'm sure they're going to find a way to get a credit card.
Yeah,
but as soon as it comes to starting a business, purchasing an asset, cash flowing, oh, I don't know, I don't have the money to do that. Well, you had the money to go buy the TV, didn't you?
Yeah,
It's always other people's monies. It just depends where it's being spent. And as soon as it needs to be spent into an asset, it might require some knowledge, some work. All of a sudden, no, I don't know. I don't know about it.
Yeah, that's so
just
funny.
reverse engineer it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like giving yourself the bullshit. Like, oh yeah, exactly. I had enough money for X, Y, and Z, but all of a sudden when it's I could put something that can make me money. I think it's also people are just scared of like taking a risk.
Oh, for sure.
But like, you put in if you're willing to put X amount of money into a liability, instead of being afraid of like you failing, be more excited of the fact like, what happens if this does work? Because I've been scammed before, and I was just like, I'm glad I still did it though, because like it could have went good, and now I learned a lesson, you know.
Well, I forgot who said this, but they brought up a great point, and I honestly I'll never forget it. But they said people are not scared of failing; they're scared of succeeding, and the reason for that is because succeeding comes with responsibility. It comes with the reputation. Now you have to hold yourself accountable. Mm-hmm. That's scary, right?
Yeah.
It's easy to lose because when you're losing, oh, well, whatever. I'm a loser. You're a loser too, right? We're all losing. Let's lose together. It's cool, right? Misery loves company. So as soon as you win, that's when it's like, oh, big boy pants, because all eyes on you, right?
Yeah. Cause also, you know, that requires change, and you're already used to what you're doing. Like, that's actually bringing it back to 75 hard. I actually had that thought the other day. I was like, fuck, like I'm like changing so much at a rapid growth. Like I'm kind of scared of like what I'm gonna turn into after this. Like, will I never will I never party again? And I'm like, maybe I won't, but like, I know damn well I'm gonna go out and celebrate sometimes, you know. And like, also kind of a little worried too. I was like, damn, I might lose some friends. But like, looking back at it, I was like, dude, like, I'm growing and I'm trying to, you know, we're on a fucking mission, dude. And sometimes the people you're with, you know, they're good in that chapter of your life, but you're trying to grow.
It's
you're
growth.
changing.
It's changing growth. Well, Hermosi said it. He says, people, normal people, right? Or, well, everyone's normal, but what I mean is the non-entrepreneur calls it change. The entrepreneur calls it growth. And that's a good way of looking at it. And I don't know if you guys know who, his name is Sadhguru. I mean, super famous on Instagram. I mean, whatever. But he had a post the other day and he basically said, life is change. So by avoiding change, you're literally avoiding life itself. And I thought that's a great point because everything is changing around us. You might as well embrace it and not only embrace it, but take advantage of it. And I mean, we're only here once. So once you recognize the things you can't change and one of those is change itself, you become more of an optimist.
Yeah. I literally, before we started this podcast, I was, there's this guy, I was watching him on Instagram. It really resonated with me. He was just like, dude, a lot of people are acting like they get to live twice. The actions they're doing, living in comfort, they're pretending as if like it's no big deal. Like they aren't analyzing the opportunity cost of them just sitting there, not, you know, no one's saying you got to be the fucking next Tesla or whatever, but like, you know, apply yourself, dude. Like change, you know, be okay with change. Like quit acting like you get to live twice. Like this is your one shot. Get some fucking shit done, you know. And I think that's something I also learned from 75 Hard is it's like, dude, like you could die tomorrow. And like I was like telling my siblings, like my biggest fear in life is dying too early to where I didn't accomplish the shit that I set out to do. Like that's the only thing I'm afraid of. And a lot of people are living now, don't even think that way and aren't even applying themselves at all. And, you know, that sadly, that's the majority of people and that's fine. But at the same time, I feel like you hear a lot of people these days who are not to get like super, or fuck, I don't even give shit to get like political, but like people.
yeah, do it. Get it.
Yeah. Like people like these days, like, cause I went to UC Santa Cruz, in college. It's very liberal. I associate myself with being pretty liberal, but now I'm starting to like I see more of both sides, but like, going to that school, a lot of people are always just like, oh, you know, we got to help people, you know, which I totally get it. But like, it felt like more of like a handout type stuff. Like people like, oh, like eat the rich, X, Y, and Z, like make them pay more taxes or whatever. And it's just like, dude, like that's not going to solve the problem. At the end of the day, your problem is you're not applying yourself and you're not bringing value. Like why the fuck am I going to why the fuck are we going to pay, like, let's say, this is going to be very controversial, but I don't give a shit. Like, why the fuck am I going to pay, like, somebody who's, like, a feminist major or, like, a Chicano studies major? No offense to those majors, but, like, in terms of value, of course I'm going to pay a fucking doctor or an engineer more money. Like, so, like, it's based on the value you're bringing. You know, and stop asking for shit.
Almost, I mean, it's almost logical. It's almost logical, right? The doctor needs to save my life. I'll pay the pretty penny.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It just, I believe there's a hierarchy to value. So, I mean, what you're saying makes sense. I think as far as like the back end, you know, the back end of the way the system runs, obviously, you know, nothing's perfect. You probably need to tighten that up. But as far as value, I mean, value is hard to argue when some things are just more important than the other. And when it comes to like medical and in your life, yeah, I'll pay. I think the doctor should be making a little bit more than, you know,
just like any other
non-doctor, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, it's really just free market theory. I mean, if you're in a free market, whatever is more necessary, whatever the market deems more valuable is gonna, you know, there more resources are gonna go to that. That
wow, Jaime, good.
So if you're not bringing any value, I mean, don't.
Well, good way to bring in economics into this, right? Free market theory, right there. Yeah, no, that was a home run with that one.
Yeah, because like, dude, it's just like I get like some people have different passions, and no one's saying like you gotta be an entrepreneur, but like for example, somebody who works like a minimum wage job at McDonald's, like why do you expect to get more things if you're not putting in more like input to get like more output? And I feel like a lot of people these days are they don't get that, or just entitled. Input, yeah,
they're entitled. That really is one of the main words. I think that's a reoccurring theme along the millennial and the Gen Z, and obviously like that's us.
Yeah.
But I definitely see it from peers. That entitlement is really, I think, the eighth sin. That you know it goes under the radar, and then if you really don't stop to think, it's just gonna fly right under your nose. But wait a second, like, who am I? Why am I more entitled than the next person? It's just all of these are products of just society and psychology. So the best thing I think we can do is just educate ourselves, and then try to spread the knowledge. And ultimately, I think everyone is just trying to be, I want to say happy, but that's not really a good word. But I would say fulfilled. So
yeah,
everyone wants to be everyone wants fulfillment, but the thing is they don't understand fulfillment, so they take the shortcut and they just say happy, and they start using the word happy. But happiness and fulfillment are two different things. So you have to rewire the brain to adjust for fulfillment, and then happiness will be a side effect. But when you go for happiness first, that's where fulfillment is going to lack, and fulfillment is really the goal. So I think I don't know where I was going with that, but I think that's kind of a good way to look at it, especially entrepreneurs. I mean, if you look at entrepreneurs like yourself, Miggle, why do you do a lot of these things? You can say, well, it's going to make me happy, but I doubt that's going to be your answer. It's because this is what fulfills you. You have a passion for it. And in that is where you're finding your happiness. So growth, I believe growth is a form of happiness.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. That's what, 100%. Absolutely. Just because I feel like two people like misconstrue happiness just with being comfortable. Because like if you're happy, you know, you're comfortable, you're not in pain. But like if you're, I feel like when you're getting fulfillment, you have to go through some pain because that's the growth, you know, and the fulfillment comes from being proud of like
100%.
I accomplished that. And like, you know, as little as a workout, you know, when you're working out and pushing yourself, you're not fucking happy, dude. You're like, dude, this fucking sucks, dude. Like, when is this over? You know? But you feel fulfilled after.
Muscle.
Yeah.
Yeah. The muscle is tearing itself. It's literally breaking, going through pain in order to become stronger. I mean, you can just look at biology as an example of what our mentality should be, which is that pain, that growth in order to move forward and then actually find some fulfillment and happiness at the end.
Yeah.
So, no, great conversation. I had a question, but kind of forgot it.
All good.
Yeah. If you want, let's go ahead and move into Airbnb.
Yeah. Sorry, we did like a whole side episode on that. Just a little 2 cents on just like motivation. I guess,
good segue.
Yeah, but I guess before we go into Airbnb, like, just quick disclaimer, like, I don't have a problem with anybody. Like, you know, I just feel I'm very passionate about when it comes to entrepreneurship. I'm not hating on anybody who isn't doing it. But whether you're doing entrepreneurship or not, you know, push yourself, apply yourself, fucking, you know, get after it. If you're not happy with something, quit bitching and complaining. Everyone has 24 hours in the day. Everybody has access to the internet. You can fucking do it. You know. But yeah, anyways, Airbnb.
Nicely said.
Yeah, man. So what got you started in Airbnbs, and tell me a little bit about how the business is working.
Absolutely. So, like I said before, one of the first businesses I did out of college was I had experience with e-commerce, started doing stuff with Amazon, and I funded that Amazon store with credit. I did that for a year. I actually scaled it up to 6 figures in revenue. But at the end of the day, I realized for me, I'm like, I like selling shit, but like, I'm not like, this isn't, you know, I'm not passionate about this. And what really got me into Airbnb is like my best friend now I made from college. He's a real estate agent. He got into Airbnb, and then like what kind of got everything set up for me, because I'm still helping sell credit stacking. And there was a kid in our program just posting up on the networking group, just like talking about Airbnb, and like I was like, damn, I keep seeing this everywhere. My buddy's doing it. This guy's has literally the same skills as me using credit for Airbnb. Like, there's no fucking reason why I can't fucking do this. And, you know, it really helped me because my buddy, I saw him being successful. I was like, all right, I already basically got a mentor for that. I ended up purchasing like a $5,000 course to help get me started. By the way, anyone who's looking to learn anything, quit using fucking YouTube and bullshit like in Reddit. Pay for a fucking course, take out your credit card, and just buy it. Like, just skip all the bullshit. You're gonna try to learn whatever skill you want on YouTube from 10 different gurus who aren't gonna give you.
I pay for YouTube TV. What do you mean?
Do they actually have like real good content on there, or it's just like actual like TV,
YouTube,
right?
Yeah, YouTube TV is. I think it's more of it's like news. I mean, it's like television.
Yeah, but I'm talking like actual like mentorships, dude. Because me, like, I bypassed all the mistakes with credit. I tried doing it on my own, fucked up a lot. And then after I got my credit courses, I was just like, well, I'm not making any mistakes this time. I still make mistakes, but I'm going to fast forward that by getting a course. But got that course. And basically, once I started, dude, that was such a scary experience for me because part of it, like you said, Joey, is like when you start something, I was a little bit afraid of failure, but I was also afraid of like the success. I was like, fuck, like what's going to happen if this does work, And I remember like literally like 24 hours before I put my listing online, like I was sitting there like shit. Like there were so many times while I'm just like packing furniture, calling fucking landlords to like, pitch them rental arbitrage. I was scared out of my ass because I was like, damn, I'm already 5K in the hole. Like we got to make this fucking happen, like even before I got the first unit, like I got like 100 no's before I found like the perfect person to, allow me to do rental arbitrage. And literally 24 hours before I put it up on Airbnb, I was like shaking, like just scared out of my mind. I was like, fuck, dude, I'm $10,000 into this. Like, I don't know if this is going to work. Like, and out of all places, I do in Bakersfield, California, which isn't a vacation place at all. But, I did my research.
But those are the best moments. Those are the best moments. That's
exactly
when you grow. And those moments where you're scared.
Exactly. And the biggest thing that kept driving me is like, I wasn't even afraid to fail. I was more so like, and this is what really like got my ego to shut the fuck up. Cause like, I remember I'd be journaling every day, every morning. And like, I just kept having this constant battle of like me talking to myself, like, fuck, you're not shit. This isn't going to work, blah, blah, blah. And I'd have to like sit down, breathe and tell like consciously, like, dude, like you got this. And at the end of the day, if this doesn't fucking work, like, I don't care. Like, I just need to know for myself, like, I can't turn 50 years old and ask myself that this could have worked. Like, that was the biggest thing. I was like, I can't have regret. I need to see this through the end. I already started it. And I swear to God, if I fucking quit now, like, I'm going to be so pissed at myself. If I would have rather just lost the $10,000, because I can make money again. But, like, the experience I've had with growing and starting this business, making the mistakes is, giving me so much confidence. And
it's the time factor.
Mm-hmm. Or what do you mean by time factor?
Well, like you said, regret, right? So I'm not sure. I know you're probably around my age, but you ain't going to do it at 50. You ain't going to do it at 60, right? You do it now for when you're 50, for when you're 60. That's the time factor. And that's what I'm about.
Yeah. And I mean, we got so much less to lose at this age. I ain't got kids, thank God. I got a wife. So like, I'm going to go fucking, I don't care. I don't have so much pressure to like succeed or fail. But yeah, like I told that little ego in my head to shut the fuck up. I ended up, that night, I just posted up like shitty pictures on my phone because I had a photographer coming out the next day to take pictures. I just wanted to like test the market. And literally, like, I almost fucking cried. Like, I woke up early in the morning, checked my phone, wasn't even up for 12 hours, dude, got a month-long booking. And I was, like, literally sitting there, like, I was, like, screaming in my apartment, like, fuck! Like, I fucking did, like, I was like, this is gonna fucking work. And from there, dude, I've just gone balls to the wall. I've signed 6 Airbnb arbitrage deals. Just got my third one here in Bakersfield all set up. So it's been going really well. Other than just the money stuff, I really enjoy the experience of like being an entrepreneur, actually now I have people who work for me too, because before my other businesses I did everything, but like now I'm at the point like this business is making enough to where I'm hiring people, my cleaners, my property managers, my people who help open deals for me. So yeah, it's been a great experience so far.
That's great, man. I love that. That's a really wholesome story of like how you
Yeah,
started
thank
out.
you,
I
man.
love it. Ca- Can you unpack a little bit of how the actual process works of rental arbitrage? Because I know a lot of people. I mean, they see it on Instagram, or they'll have one or two people talk about it, but people don't understand how it works. Could you break
Yeah,
it down for us?
absolutely. So the model I do is rental arbitrage. So basically, rental arbitrage is when it's basically how most people are living right now. You know, you go up to a landlord, I want an apartment, and I'll sign a lease for a year. You know, the problem with that is, you know, I go up to them and I let them know like, hey, and this is literally my script. So if you guys are interested in rental arbitrage, literally, I'm going to tell you exactly how I do it, how I pitch the sale and like the letters, like DM me on Instagram as well if you want those exact templates. But the number one part of this with rental arbitrage is I label myself as a corporate housing company. And what a corporate housing company is we focus on finding travel workers, you know, like travel nurses, that's really big here. You know, traveling businessmen, whatever. That sounds more appealing when you're pitching that idea versus, hey, I'm going to put your house on Airbnb. You know, I'm still very upfront with them, letting them know I'm going to use that platform, but I pitch myself as, hey, I'm a corporate housing company. We make the most money when we get like travel nurses, because we do put a lot of effort in finding those clients because it's easier for us. We make the most money. So I'm not bullshitting them at all, but I do let them know, you know, 50% of this will be corporate housing, 50% is going to be like short-term rentals, just because we can't just let the shit sit on the market for like a week or however long. And a lot of people are okay with that, but a lot.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Like right now, I was doing kind of the mental idea of I was the owner and you were pitching me, and you completely defused me. Like I was worried, I was like, oh, you're gonna have a bunch of people partying in my apartment. They're gonna wreck my stuff. And now when you told me, oh, traveling
Yeah.
nurses, I was like, oh, okay, I'm down.
Yeah,
I'm going to sign
exactly.
the
And
contract.
a lot of people, like, let's say I'm reaching out to you, I'm doing my cold call, like, hey, saw this listing on Zillow, just wanted to see if it's still open. Like, a lot of people, they think, like, why the hell would I ever, like, why wouldn't I just do that as the homeowner? And, like, why the hell would I let you do, like, put my listing up on, like, Airbnb or short-term rentals? And that's a very honest question. But what a lot of people don't realize is if you're in real estate, people invest in real estate because they want it passive. You know, they aren't willing to furnish the place, respond to fucking guests. So like at the end of the day, if they want to do it, they would have already done it. You know, so you don't have to worry about the competition, like giving them the idea, because like, dude, that people know what fucking Airbnb is. You know, but when I call these people, I'm just like, hey, what's up, Jaime? This is Miggle with my company's called Humble Abode. Saw your listing on XYZ Street. Just wanted to see if it was still open. They'll be like, oh, yeah, cool. And then I'll be like, awesome. So I actually work with a corporate housing company. We're looking to pick up at least one, maybe a couple more units for at least one or more years or longer. And just wanted to see if you sign leases with business entities. Now, I'm going to break down that whole script right there and how valuable that is. So first part, hey, I work with a corporate housing company. We're looking to pick up multiple units for multiple years. Fucking landlords and homeowners are going to have their heads like shaking, like, hell yeah, I'm not going to have to keep looking for somebody for the next couple of years. And I tell them corporate housing, I break it down. I'm like, yeah, we're a corporate housing company. You know, we do some short-term rentals, but we also do like corporate for like travel nurses. You know, the benefits with working with us is, you know, we're willing to sign a multi-year lease. You don't have to keep finding somebody. If you have your home on the market even for a week, you're losing money. That's not going to happen. You found your last tenant, and that's me, because it's my job to find the tenants. And since I'm a company, I'm a lot less likely to default on my rental payments because I'm a business. And whether or not I could let that whole month go by and not get anybody to book the place, I'm a business, so I'm more likely to still pay you up versus just a normal renter. So there's a lot of good benefits. And also too, since as the person doing Airbnb, I have their best interest at heart. You know, we're gonna get you paid. We're gonna keep the house in awesome condition, because if it's not, you know, we're not gonna be able to book it out. So a lot of people, when they think of arbitrage, they think it's bullshit, because like how can that make money? But there's a lot of reasons why you'd want to work with somebody like us, because we make your rental portfolio more guaranteed and a lot more passive. Yeah.
That's phenomenal. I mean, shout out to you, man. That's awesome. You definitely showed me. I didn't know that the way you go about acquiring the units. So I mean, I thought that was genius. I'm learning a lot from you right now too.
Yeah. So that's just the first part, dude. And what I always tell people and why I love sales is like, you're gonna need to know sales every day of your life, whether it's like me talking to you talking to a girl, or especially in business. That's the number one skill you need to have, is communication. That's why I love sales. And that's
no, absolutely.
Yeah. That's the first.
It's sales / communications is a non-negotiable in this realm of entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
So absolutely.
Communication and sales, like, it fucks, dude. It's going to get you in a lot of places, and it's gotten me pretty far. Yeah.
100%.
And like, I would say that's like 90% of the work, really, is like, if you could sell somebody and communicate with them, and like, you don't even have to be good, you know, like you just be able, you don't have to be like super charismatic, like just be able to communicate those value points. You'll get a lot of no's, and as long as you're not a pussy and can handle a no and rejection, you know, you'll be fine. Even if you can't handle it yet, just keep fucking doing it, because then you'll get numb to getting no's, and you won't be thinking of it as such a big deal. But once you get that first deal, like, that's what kept pushing me, because like, I was like, fuck, dude, this is call like number 120, dude. Like, when the fuck am I going to find somebody? I'm like a month and a half calling people every day, you know, and I finally got that first one, and I was like, I knew in my heart, like, once I get the first deal, it's game over from there. And that's what exactly happened. I essentially started picking up properties left and right, basically getting a property once a month, you know, putting it all on business credit. And, you know, those are all going to cash flow, pay itself off, and I get to keep them. But that's, yeah. In terms of the arbitrage stuff, there's a lot that goes into like the step-by-step stuff. But like, if you want to get started, it's all sale, knowing what the value pitch is. And then once you get that, like, it's all just kind of the operation stuff. If you really want, you could hire a property manager. I recommend you doing your first one or two on your own, just so you know what you're looking for out of those property managers, because you don't want somebody giving you some half-ass work, but you not knowing it because you've never done it yourself. So, yeah.
Awesome, man. So let's make a quick switch, and I want to talk about your content creation on Instagram. I love your stuff, dude. You've been killing it. I don't think you've even been making that much content that long, but the little bit of content you do have is awesome. It really makes me want to be around people like you. Like, the energy you have, it's infectious. Like, it really is, bro. Like, you're so positive, and you're always putting up a ton of information, content, and that's something that you kind of motivated me and Joey to kind of start making not just the YouTube channel, but start making micro content. So I love how you do it. So can you give like us and some of the viewers some advice on making content?
And like you said, dude, I haven't been doing it long, but I've been like cooking it up in my brain for so long. And like I said earlier, like what really got me into it is like, I've been thinking about it for so long. I've been kind of half-assing it, like half in, half out. And then when we met each other at the 0% business conference out in Miami last month, there was that guy, Chris McGinnis, who talked about it. Like, and this is what really got me into it. He was just like, he hit the nail on the coffin. Was just like, look, like, nobody fucking looks at your LinkedIn, dude. Nobody, like, not even like if it's a professional work experience, people don't really like go through it and read the whole thing. Like, people look at Instagram, and if you have like any sort of product or service or like a brand on there, they're going to see what your offering is and how you are as a person. Cause I might have an awesome offer, but I might just like be like a total chode, like no personality, just like a stick up the ass. Like, I'm not going to want to do business with me. That guy sounds like he sucks. I'd rather pay for more for somebody I could see myself being friends with. And when Chris was like talking about it, like, look, this is your resume that's available 24/7, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Like, I was like, that's when it really hit me to like, all right, no more fucking around. Like, you know, there's no reason why I can't do this too. And like, even now, like I still don't know what the fuck I'm doing, but I know I need to start. And I kind of asked myself, I was like, so what's something I know I could build content around? What am I really good at? And I was like, credit. You know, I work for a business that sells these services. I've been studying it for the last like 2 years. It only made sense. And that's kind of what got me into it. And then what I did was I was like, all right, just make 15 videos, save them to drafts. Just so like there's never a day where I won't post content, because sometimes I might skip, like even when I was in Vegas, I skipped some days on filming content, but there's never going to be a day where I don't post anything. So I just kind of batched up a bunch of content, and really to make it easy, honestly, really easy. Like I already know a lot about credit, but if you want to make this even easier for you, just follow like 5 accounts that talks about your niche and literally copy and paste that shit. Like I do that shit now, just cause like I'm learning some stuff that I didn't even know. And you know, my followers are going to want to know about it. And I just started with the whole credit journey, you know, been growing pretty quickly. But you know, I only have like 11K followers now, but like, I promise you, give me a fucking year and, I'm going to be fine. I will be, as you say, like an influencer. That's not necessarily the goal. Really, I want to have impact and be able to teach people. But yeah, like as long as you're consistent, posting up within your niche, those people are going to find you, you know?
Yeah, I don't know if it was Gary Vee or Chris McGinnis, but I heard them recently, and they were like, just stop overthinking it and record. Just hit the record button. And that's something that a lot of people out there they want to post something. They want to have exposure. They have this idea, but they just get in a loop of overthinking, and then it's analysis paralysis. But the truth is just hit record, and you'll figure out the rest on the way. And me and Joey have kind of done that with the podcast. This is just our 3rd podcast, and you know, the way we started, I just told Joey, is like, let's just hit record and go. We'll worry about all the other little things.
Because dude, it's never going to be perfect, but you literally just need to take the first step, and that's how I started with business. That's how I started with credit. That's how I started with fucking Amazon, Airbnb, and now my personal brand. It's like, and something I've learned is like, something is better than nothing. So stop fucking giving yourself the excuse that like, oh, I still need to do research, X, Y, Z. Like, a lot of people feel like it needs to either be perfect, or they're honestly just too scared to put themselves out there. And like, I'm not even gonna pretend like I wasn't scared, because I was like, fuck, what are people gonna think of me? Blah, blah, blah. And I think one of the easiest ways to get over that fear is, you know, just start like an Instagram just for that information. Because before I was posting it on like my personal one, and I was like, fuck, what are all my like friends and family gonna think? Like, who does he think he is? Like, they might not even be interested in it. And like, you know, a lot of people probably won't be interested in it. But if you want to get the pressure off your chest, just start a whole nother Instagram, focus on that. And that way it's only the people that actually give a shit about your content. And you're not going to be so worried about like pleasing people who don't even care about that. You know, that's what I had in my head. And once, like you said, you start hitting record, you know, it just goes from there, dude.
Yeah, perfection is another word for procrastination.
Yeah.
For all of our listeners, Miggle, where can they find you online? If if they want to connect, reach out and learn more about you.
Yeah, dude. You guys can check me out on Instagram. I'm gonna be having other like platforms, but right now I'm just going all in on Instagram. My Instagram handle's
your handle.
Yeah, my handle it's at Motive Miggle. That's MOTIV MIGGLE. Motive Miggle. The M is for Miggle, money, motivation. So that's all the stuff I like to talk about. Right now it's just focused on credit, but eventually going to start talking about just different, like the same stuff we've been talking on here, real estate, mentalities, mindsets. But yeah, I definitely think with content, it's a big thing. If you can kind of see the potential with it, as in like, if you have an audience and eyes, dude, like that's fucking money. And like, obviously money isn't the only reason why you're doing it, but like, I want to be able to impact and teach people the shit that I know. Like, you're going to get a lot of benefits from it if you could grow that brand. And you're already posting shit on Instagram anyway, so why not be methodical about it? Let's make some fucking money with it,
Yeah, absolutely. All right, I think we had a great show today. Once again, thanks for having you. Thanks for coming on, Miggle. We always appreciate it. You're always welcome.
Yeah, Miggle, I really appreciate you coming on. I mean, you're literally making New Front Radio history as our first guest on. So
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Hopefully we can scale this.
Absolutely.
This pod
Peace out, guys.
up, and we'll have you on again in a couple months, and hopefully we have both grown a lot since then, and we can talk again about some of these topics and some new topics. And thank you again so much, man. You gave us and our listeners a lot of insight, and it was great, man. Great having you on the podcast.
All righty, guys.
All right, guys. Have a good one.